in the States. It's been used in the glass industry. And can I say that that's going to come back? I can't say. So can we say that we'll always be in high production? I can't say that either. But it does appear with the activity in the different oil and natural gas reserves in North America that there's going to be a strong demand for the proppant sand for some years to come.
I have a question, and you guys can maybe answer this better than I can. Kind of know my answer, but you guys maybe want to take this. This is really about, someone asked how many years before the habitat and the trees come back and the deer and the antelope play. I mean, somebody asked when, because I think someone envisions this as this pristine site, and we're changing it in some way that is irreparable. And so, you want to grab that?
How long?
How long? One of the things you saw, remember, I don't know if you guys remember those slides that were up there, that this site, since I think, 1930 something, this site has been in transition. It's been a lot of different things at different times. Now, anybody want to talk to that? Or?
The reclamation plan calls for a combination of seeds and saplings. So we're not just relying on seeding, but we're actually planting young trees and shrubs. Typically what we're seeing is by the end of the second year, maybe the third year, you've got growth in that 4 to 6 foot canopy. Doug's dog is going to be really enjoying that because those young trees is where there's a lot of upland birds. So within 2 to 3 growing seasons is when that ecosystem is grabbing its foothold and looks like it's on its way to a successful reclamation.
And it's real serious business because you have to keep out the invasive species. You all know what a weed patch looks like, and that's going to happen to any reclamation if it isn't properly managed. And so it's defined in the rec plan, it's quantitative in the rec plan as to what a successful reclamation is.
And that reclamation starts long before the very end of this process. It starts when we start phase 2, we start reclaiming phase 1. So
that then speaks to the question, what happens if the oil and gas boom in North Dakota ends and the Chinese come through with their ultra cheap proppant? What happens to this sand operation? Well, the worst possible case is the county pulls the bond and has to fulfill the obligations that these guys left behind, but that is an absolute bare minimum signature of the property, which these guys have put up their financial assurance to cover. So the amount of impact to the land is always kept to a minimum, just because it's a good stewardship of how the reclamation plan goes, and it doesn't put us too far ahead of the market.
Yeah, as far as regulations go, we are, our mine operation is legally bound to our reclamation plan. And our financial assurance is bound to this site as well. There was the question, what if we flip this land? Well, the mine plan doesn't leave this site. This mine plan is bound to this site. Any other operator who would take on this property is bound to the approved reclamation plan or go through the whole process again with financial assurance that's also in place.
Are we down to our last ones?
We're getting down to the last here, yeah.
I have some questions here regarding sound, decibel levels. And somebody wants to personally ask us a question. Well, after we're done, you can come up and ask us personally. We're good with that. And truck routes, and we talked about that. We're not sure about that yet. We got to go in one way or the other. I mean, that's pretty obvious. And we'll get to state roads as quickly as we can. But we're either in to Taylor or we're in back into toward Melrose and on to Sparta or Toma or Oakdale or wherever the sand needs to go. So if you want to ask us personal questions or you want to personally ask us questions, you're certainly welcome to do that. We're available to talk to anybody, anytime. And so you're certainly welcome to do that.
Here's a related question to what I answered before. If Franklin rezones, which Franklin is not rezoning, we're as property owners of 131 acres asking for a specific rezoning request on our property. Any mining business could come in and do it their way. It very likely wouldn't be environmentally sound management. Well, every owner who wants to do what we're doing has to go through this whole process themselves individually or as a company. So the process, the township is not getting rezoned. We're talking about our particular property.
All right. Couple more?
Yeah, a couple more. It just asks us where we'll be hauling. I think we've answered that question. We're going to be using the county road going north or going south in some respect. And I think we answered this as well. How do you maintain a hill or a bluff if you are extracting tons and tons of material out? You cannot tell me you will rebuild it as it was. And we're not. We're saying that it would be lower and it would be adapted. It would be replaced with natural material. Okay, I think that's...
I've got one other question. This is addressed to a question that was asked earlier. I presented 37 cents stays in, locally, which is just spent, stuff that's spent locally. And the question is, where's the other 63 cents go? And I can only speak on that in general because, we don't have an operation like this, but it's surprising, just like your own checkbook, how quickly the money goes. Some of the big things is labor. That's probably one of the biggest things that goes directly into paying people labor. Fuel, not all the money that we spend on fuel stays here, like a local gas station, they have to buy their fuel from wherever, from a local distributor. Some of the money stays as profit to the gas station. Taxes is a big thing. If and when we make a profit, Uncle Sam will take taxes. Also machinery, and machinery repair, road maintenance. We have to continually have a supply of money in order to back up our bond, which is for things like road maintenance. One thing we have to do is remove electrical lines. And I talked to the power company a few weeks ago. There's an electrical line that runs through our property under the ground, and they told us that we'd have to pay, personally ourselves, we'd have to pay per foot. I forget the amount, but it seemed outrageous to me that we will have to move that around the side of the property. And then things like trees and seed, when we reclaim it. There's just a whole host of things. So once we get a couple years into this, if the person that is really curious, I'd be happy to sit down with you, just show you where all this money goes. Thanks.
Excuse me, I don't have a question, I just have a comment.
All right, we're kind of to the end.
I'm in Edith Ruckelson Roland. My husband isn't here because he has a doctor appointment. I got this letter yesterday. We are landowners down on N, but we live in Greenway, Wisconsin. I thought it was very short notice to be here today and tomorrow. I had to rearrange a lot of appointments and whatever. Plus, it didn't tell me what time it was. There's no time on here.
That was a mistake.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a big mistake.
It was a big mistake. It wasn't done, but just so you know, it wasn't done on purpose. It was.
I know, but I called
Yeah.
Bob, about the only person I know here, and he gave me the time. But I just think that 1 day notice for a meeting this big, and I'm sure there are other landowners who don't live in the immediate area who are not able to be here.
Okay, can I answer that?
Yeah.
Let me answer. Just say, the town actually gave the notice. That was just actually advertising, that was advertising and promotional material that we wanted to make available. We sent it to every owner here, and if we would have had more time, we would have done it. And so everything has been compressed here. And we did purposely schedule it this time.
Well, I'm
We're
sure
working
that
within
other
the town's
people will be
requirements.
here if they could.